Okay. This is Scalia saying, it may be objected that if weapons that are most useful in military service, M16 rifles and the like, may be banned, then the Second Amendment right is completely detached from the prefatory clause, which was written to protect a citizen's militia, allegedly. But as we have said, this is Scalia, the conception of the militia at the time of the Second Amendment's ratification was the body of all citizens capable of military service who would bring the sorts of lawful weapons they possessed at home to militia duty. So he's using Miller to buttress an extension of Miller and a limitation of the Second Amendment regarding dangerous and unusual weapons and so forth. They're going to try to use, as I said, the common use thing. I think that could backfire. All right, this is sort of the tail end of the bad news. Let me begin with the upswing of a little good news of how perhaps we can use Miller and Scalia's argument in our favor for battle rifles and a protected Second Amendment. Sarah Brady and her slithering ilk came out with something called the mass-produced mayhem. I mean, it's got an AK-47 or an Uzi or something like that. So she's trying to pick apart the value of semi-automatic battle rifles, military rifles. And she says, moreover, assault weapons have never been in common use at any time. You know, that's all capitalized, at any time. All right. Well, let's quote some of the people that have written for Sarah, or Sarah has quoted in using her argument. New York Congressman Eliot Engel, who is chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on the Western Hemisphere, whatever that is. I wanted the Eastern Hemisphere. No, Eliot, you get the Western Hemisphere. It's bigger than the Eastern Hemisphere. You'll like it. He said the market is flooded with imported, inexpensive military-style assault weapons. Flooded. The University of Pennsylvania has a report called The Federal Assault Weapons Ban Has Mixed Success in Reducing Criminal Use of Banned Guns and Magazines. They say the ban exempts millions of assault weapons and large-capacity magazines that were manufactured prior to September '94. The Washington Post, during the 1990s, Army-owned firms, talk about the Chinese. There's an article about the Army in trade in China. Army-owned firms in China sold millions of assault weapons to American gun owners. And then lastly, my favorite, the Violence Policy Center. In Moulin-la-Bay, I changed it to the Policy Center on Violence, and I just gave him a good bitch slap in there. The VPC estimates that 1 million new assault weapons have been manufactured for sale in the United States since the passage of the 1994 law. This is an extremely conservative estimate and does not take into account the large numbers of assault weapons imported into the U.S. since '94. Millions, 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 millions. That sounds like common use to me. Okay? So, I think they blew it on that point. Another thing Sarah Brady likes to say about assault weapons is that they have no home self-defense value. Okay? Why? Because they're the weapons of war that are sought after and used by street gangs, drug dealers, and terrorists, but are of no use to law-abiding persons who own guns for sporting purposes and self-defense. All right? Now let's take something that Dianne Feinstein said. The issue of assault weapons is near and dear to my heart, assuming she has one. And it's not about the politics or polls or interest groups. In my view, it is about real people and real lives. I agree. It is about the ability of working men and women and children, working children, I guess, to be safe from disgruntled employees or schoolmates who show up one day at a law firm or a school or a place of business and fire away until the room becomes filled with dead and wounded colleagues. Unfortunately, in this society, we are always going to have some people who are prone to grievance killing. It is my belief the assault weapon, the military-style semi-automatic assault weapon, has become the weapon of choice for grievance killers. You know, if someone unslung an AK-47 and planned to shoot me, I'd sure wish I had my AK-47 to shoot them. Okay, I'm not going to fight a guy with a rifle with my handgun if I have any choice in the matter. You get caught in a fight with a handgun. You go to a fight with a rifle. All right? They don't want us to ever be able to go to a fight. That's the thing. So, sounds like self-defense use to me. Sarah was all upset about the previous ban because the loophole that allowed gun makers to continue manufacturing and selling stripped-down assault weapons. They said basically gun makers and importers had copycat versions of this, and they evaded the ban and circumvented it, and boo-hoo. Her report says, for 10 years, America attempted to limit the mayhem caused by assault weapons and the high-capacity ammunition magazines that they utilize. Although the gun industry worked hard to evade the federal ban by marketing assault weapons stripped of enough features to get by, gun makers were not wholly effective at neutralizing the federal ban's effect. Even accounting for the industry's evasive efforts, the use of assault weapons in crime substantially. Okay, and they say during the ban, there was a 66% decline in criminal use of assault weapons. I don't get it. If the gun industry is still flooding the market during that 10 years with copycat guns that still use high-capacity magazines and are effectively the same thing that got banned, okay, how did criminal use of these things go down? I mean, there's more guns coming in, circumventing the ban, yet the criminal use went down. There's a disconnect for me that I don't understand. And it was figured out for me by a fellow named Christopher Coper, who wrote an updated assessment of the federal assault weapons ban. Should it be renewed, they're talking about renewing the 1994 version, the ban's effects on gun violence are likely to be small at best and perhaps too small for reliable measurement. Assault weapons were rarely used in gun crimes even before the 1994 ban. Well, if they were rarely used in crimes before the ban, what was the purpose of the ban at all? Okay? Sarah Brady and those people stand in the air. They have nothing of a foundation in logic or data or facts or even a reasoned argument. But they're noisome, okay? And they have their president and a lot of their Congress. So don't expect logic and reason to make headway on these arguments. Yeah, we know it's crap, it's BS, but you've heard the words they use: mayhem, smoking, gun, rooms filled with dead and maimed children, working children. You can't fight that. You can't fight illogic and unreason with logic. It can't be done. They are in la-la land on this stuff. Their own statements disagree with themselves within the same paragraph. They've circumvented the ban, still flooding the market with all these guns, but somehow gun violence with these same guns went down. And that was because of the ban. So they're out of their minds.